Hi, everybody. Welcome to English Digest. I'm Stephanie.
And I'm Jacob.
Hey, it's day 2 of our TOEIC unit.
Yay.
As you know, I know. As you know, we were talking about getting a wisdom tooth pulled in day 1. Well, day 2, we're going to follow that up with how to prepare for that upcoming extraction. You kind of got to prepare before you get them done. I was lucky enough to have a mom who would just take care of everything because I was still pretty young then. But if you're an adult and you want to get your wisdom teeth pulled out, you probably should prepare in advance.
Right.
There are a lot of things you can't do, can't eat. And right after you have them pulled, you're usually a little bit fuzzy because they give you some numbing medicine.
Right.
They put me out, so I was unconscious.
Right.
Which was lovely. But I don't think they really don't do that here. I talked to my dentist here.
Yeah.
And he said, oh, no, they're afraid people will die.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I got put out when I was younger. But
I had mine done here, and I just got a local anesthetic. That's the numbing medicine. They just kind of, the dentist stuck it in the back of my tooth. And
those hurt too, huh?
Yeah, it hurt, but and the pulling, even though it's numb back there, you can still feel you can feel the pulling, and it kind of hurts. It's kind of it's a very strange feeling because and you can kind of see them with the big pliers and I was lucky.
Did it come out in one piece?
Yeah, it came out in one piece, so it was like a normal tooth pulling.
You're very lucky.
But it was a little weird. I only had the top one, and then I went back maybe a week later, and then they did the other side.
Okay.
But do you know why? It must have been okay because I don't really remember it. If it was a really horrible experience, I'm sure I'd remember.
Yeah.
But this one, I guess it was sort of a normal procedure, let's say.
They even give you something called Tylenol with codeine in America for the pain. But I didn't like how that made me feel, so I stopped taking that. It's not comfortable for a few days, and you don't want to eat or chew on the side where you got your tooth pulled out. But you survive. Everybody gets them taken out.
Right.
It's something you got to go through. Right now, we're going to read through day 2, and then we'll come back to talk about how to prepare for having that tooth extracted.
Having their wisdom teeth removed is a nerve-wracking experience for many people. Although it's impossible to eliminate all of the anxiety about the procedure, you can minimize unpleasant sensations with the proper preparation. Here are some things you can do beforehand. First, make sure you get the timing correct. It's advisable to take time off from work or school if possible, as you'll need some time for relaxation in order to heal. You should also arrange for transportation home after the appointment because it's too risky for you to drive in this weakened condition. Finally, you'll probably want to stock your kitchen with soft items, including soups and ice cream, as you won't be able to tolerate hard foods for several days after the surgery. During the recovery period, place a cold compress over your jaw to ease the pain. You should start rinsing your mouth with salt water 24 hours after surgery to keep the wounds clean. Here's a rough guideline of what to expect as you move along the recovery timeline. Within the first 24 hours, some blood clots may form. After 2 or 3 days, the swelling in your mouth will start to subside. When a week has passed, the dentist can remove any remaining stitches. By this time, jaw stiffness and additional soreness should be almost gone. Finally, mild bruising and swelling around your face should be completely healed at around the 2-week mark.
Okay, guys, how do we prepare before we get a wisdom tooth removed? Or, if you're lucky, get several teeth removed. So having your wisdom teeth removed is a nerve-wracking experience for many people. This is a great phrase to learn, nerve-wracking. It's turning into an adjective here. What kind of experience? A nerve-wracking experience. Nerve-wracking means very stressful, something that's very hard to endure or to go through. It's trying. Maybe you're really tense and you're worried about something, and it's like someone's just pulling all your nerves and they're making you crazy. Nerve-wracking.
Do you have any specific nerve-wracking experiences?
Well, I know a lot of our listeners probably can relate to this. If you've taken those tests, those college entrance exams, that can be a nerve-wracking experience waiting for the results.
Okay,
right?
That's a good one.
Yeah. Parents definitely would understand that feeling. Do you have any nerve-wracking experiences you can relate?
Yeah, I come from Massachusetts, and Boston is the big city there. And Boston traffic is always really bad. So one day I had to drive in the city at rush hour. And driving through rush hour traffic can be very nerve-wracking because, there's so many cars and a lot of traffic, and people are a little bit tense. So for me, that's kind of a nerve-wracking experience.
Yeah. I was driving through Boston when you guys were constructing all the roads called the Big Dig.
Oh, yeah.
That was a mess. Okay. I remember. So it's sometimes impossible to eliminate all of that anxiety, that stress that you might feel about going through the procedure. But you can minimize unpleasant sensations if you prepare beforehand. So we're going to talk about one of those things you need to do. What does beforehand mean? Well, it just means things you do before some sort of event takes place. So you're doing something in advance, or I'm going to prepare beforehand so I don't have to worry on the day of the party. So maybe you've got something big coming up. Don't wait. Prepare in advance so it's not so nerve-wracking for you. This is all really good advice. We use beforehand quite a bit. It's just an adverb. It just means when something is done. So you're preparing in advance before an action or event, and it's always a good thing to do.
Right. The word beforehand, you can actually see the first part of the word is before, and that gives you a good clue about the meaning here, something that takes place before or ahead of time. Okay, the second paragraph starts first. Make sure you get the timing correct. It's advisable to take time off from work or school if possible, as you'll need some time for relaxation in order to heal. Okay, so the way to prepare is when you schedule the appointment, first, make sure that you get the timing right. You have to plan for a day or for a week when maybe you're not too busy. Okay, so if you're going to get your wisdom tooth pulled, don't do it right before a big exam or right before you have a big project deadline at work. That's bad timing.
Yeah.
Good timing would be when you're not so busy, you don't have a lot of tests and things because, right, you'll need a little bit of time afterwards to rest, to recover, because your mouth will be hurting and you won't be able to talk, and you'll just want to just rest at home so you feel better. Then you can go and do the important things you have to do at school or work. So make sure you get the timing right.
Yeah, I think that's probably one of the best pieces of advice right there. Don't get your wisdom teeth pulled right before a big date with some guy or girl you really like. That's
that
dumb
would
too.
Stink.
Yeah, there are better times to schedule that. So you should also arrange for transportation home after the appointment. I highly recommend this because it's too risky or dangerous for you to drive in this weakened condition. Some people react, or their bodies react badly to local anesthetic that kind of numbs your face or your gums there. I was put out, so I was unconscious. So I needed my mom or dad to come pick me up and take me home. But make sure you have someone to go with you just to make sure you're safe and okay. Sometimes your brain is a little fuzzy when you have to have some of these procedures done. So I think that's a really good piece of advice right there.
Okay, right. So yeah, it was good for me. I was in Tianmu at a dentist up in Tianmu, and there was a bus right outside that went to my house. So I just hopped on the bus and I got home. Yeah, I wasn't driving or anything like that after getting my wisdom tooth pulled. Finally, you'll probably want to stock your kitchen with soft items, including soups and ice cream, as you won't be able to tolerate hard foods for several days after the surgery. Okay, so you'll want to stock your kitchen. This means to stock something means to kind of prepare, to buy things, maybe buy a lot of something. We also have the verb phrase to stock up on something. And this is a common phrase that you'll hear a lot. Cereal is on sale at the supermarket. I want to go stock up. I want to buy a lot of this item because it's cheaper now. I can buy it, and I can take it home, and then I can save it at home and just eat it over time. So to stock means to buy something, to buy maybe a lot of something, just so you're prepared. If a typhoon is coming, you might want to go to the grocery store and buy a lot of food because you won't be able to go out for a few days. You might stock up on food before a typhoon, let's say.
Oh, yeah. You'll also see this used in stores that you go to. For example, say I'm going to a big supermarket, say I'm going to a Costco, and the last time I went, I really wanted to buy some cans of chicken, and they were out of stock. 缺货 is what we say in Chinese. Now I know what that means because I'm like, what? What? Out of stock means they've sold everything they had. Their whole supply of goods is gone.
Yeah.
And they're reordering. You'll have to wait until it comes in to the store again. They're trying to stock up.
Right.
But if something's out of stock, sometimes they give you a coupon that allows you to come back and get maybe the sale price that you wanted. Those are called rain checks. But yeah, you'll see it often when you are in grocery stores especially.
Right.
You'll see that
and so
sign.
That stock would be a noun, right? So stock can be a verb like we're using it here. And it's also a noun. You talk about how much a store has of something. That's the store's stock. Right.
Those are the supply of goods that they have. So if you're going to stock your kitchen, you're just going to buy the supply of goods that you think you might need. Buy extra ice cream is what I say. Here they're saying you should stock your kitchen with soft items, including soups and ice cream, as you won't be able to tolerate hard foods for several days after the surgery. So what does tolerate mean? If you can tolerate something, something usually you're experiencing something that's bad or painful, and if you tolerate it, you're able to endure it, you're able to bear it, you can put up with it. It's not too awful that you quit or say, that's it, I can't do it. So tolerating pain is pretty important because you can't get better unless you get through the painful stage that we all have to go through sometimes.
That's right. We just got through summer, right? So in summer, especially in Taiwan, we have to tolerate the heat or tolerate the humidity because there's nothing we can do about it. It's always there. You just have to bear it. You have to get through it.
So some of those things are pretty important. Oh, here's one of the words that I wanted to especially focus on, and that's surgery. We have two ways to talk about when a doctor cuts a patient open and then takes something out or fixes something inside our body and then sews it back up. That can either be he's performing an operation or, if it's a female doctor, she's performing surgery or I have surgery tomorrow. There is a big difference between these two words, though, grammar-wise. Operation is countable. Someone can do a lot of operations. I have an operation tomorrow, but you would never say I have a surgery tomorrow. No, surgery is non-count. I'm sorry about that, guys. English is crazy. Surgery is non-count. So someone has surgery or a doctor is performing surgery or you just got out of surgery, but usually we are in an operating room when that operation happens or the surgery takes place. We don't call it a surgery room or a surgical room. It's usually just an operating room. Notice here in our article, they have after the surgery. That's okay, guys, but you can never say after the surgeries.
Okay, right.
Okay, so just remember that. It's a little tricky. It's a little different than operation.
Okay, so let's talk about what happens after the surgery here. So there's a recovery period, and you want to place a cold compress over your jaw. Now, a compress is basically something that has ice in it. Maybe you can make a compress by just taking a towel and going to your freezer and taking some ice out of it, and then wrapping the ice in the towel and balling it up. And you can put that on your jaw here, or if your muscles hurt, maybe you have an injury from playing sports, you could use a cold compress and put that on your muscles to make them feel better if they're in some pain, right? So this will help ease the pain. You should also start rinsing your mouth with salt water. Okay, so you take a little bit of salt, put it in water, and then kind of put it in your mouth and rinse it back and forth and then spit it out. You don't want to swallow. You don't want to drink the salt water. You just want to rinse it and then spit it out. This is to help keep the wound clean. The salt water will help make sure that the wound doesn't get infected. So that's a good thing to do after the surgery.
And I can also recommend this if you have a cold. If you gargle with salt water, it helps kill some of the bacteria in your throat. So, yeah, I do that.
Is that true? Okay.
It is true. So what you're doing is you're using that salt to kind of kill bugs that might be developing in your mouth. So remember that. Also, guys, that compress can be hot or cold. So notice here we say cold compress. There's also a warm or hot compress that you might use at first. They have different consequences. So talk to your doctor about which one is right for your pain, whatever you're going through.
Right.
So here's a rough guideline, just kind of an estimate of what to expect as you move along the recovery timeline. Not everyone's experience will be the same. Within the first 24 hours, some blood clots may form. These are good blood clots that stop the bleeding. Your mouth will bleed for first couple of hours. I noticed it was bloody.
Yeah.
So after 2 or 3 days, the swelling in your mouth will start to subside. Subside means to go down. After a big flood, the flood waters will subside. Just means the rain stops and then that water starts reducing or going down.
Also, your fever, if you have a fever, a high temperature, when you start to feel better, your fever will also subside.
True.
When a week has passed, so the dentist, you can go back to the dentist and they can actually take out the stitches. The stitches are those, it's kind of like a thread almost that they used to tie the wound together so it doesn't bleed to help it heal. Now they have stitches where they just go away by themselves. You don't have to go back to the doctor to get them taken out. But I remember as a kid, they didn't have those. So you'd always have to go, if you had a cut, you'd always go back to the doctor to take your stitches out. By this time, your jaw should be feeling better. The jaw, of course, is the bone inside your face that your teeth come out of. And that will be feeling better. It won't be so sore anymore. So that should be almost gone. Your jaw will start to feel better.
And finally, mild bruising and swelling around your face should be completely healed at around the 2-week mark. Mild just means something that's not very strong or not very severe. Some people don't like very spicy food. If they say it's mildly spicy or mild on it, it means you can probably tolerate it. Remember, tolerate. You can put up with it. Bruising is when your body is impacted by something. So it usually leaves a mark. It starts out purple and then it changes to yellow.
Yeah.
That's a bruise. So mild bruising. Some people who get their wisdom teeth out actually have bruises that appear on their face. And that will start to go away after about 2 weeks. It usually takes 2 weeks for a bruise to completely disappear. I know because I get lots of bruises. So there you have it. This is how you can prepare to get a wisdom tooth removed. Hopefully no one out there needs to have that done anytime soon. But if you do, we wish you luck. You'll be okay. Take some of this advice. It's pretty good. Right now, we're going to listen to our Chinese teacher, and then we'll be back. We have got a couple of discussion questions that we want to talk about.
Hello everyone, 我是派老师。今天讲解的是10月11号多益单元第2天课程 Unit 5 Preparing for Wisdom Tooth Removal。第1天的课程是一段对话 Aaron 到牙医诊所检查牙齿，结果发现智齿蛀牙了。牙医建议他另外约个时间拔牙。他虽然害怕，但是为了口腔健康，还是接受牙医师的建议。如果听众也有类似困扰，考虑要拔智齿的话，那 大家可以参考今天的课程，遵循一些方法，减少拔智齿所带来的疼痛不适。好，那我们就进一步的来看这一篇文章。请看到第一段 Having their wisdom teeth removed is a nerve-wracking experience for many people. 这里要请同学先注意到的是 have 当实义动词的用法。智齿它是被拔除的，它本身没有办法做 remove 这个动作，所以呢，在 have 之后，我们要加上 ed 用过去分词表示智齿是被拔除的。再来，请同学看到一个复合形容词 nerve-wracking 指的呢是相当恼人的。好，再来，请同学看到第一段的第二个句子 Although it's impossible to eliminate all of the anxiety about the procedure. 昨天的课程里，老师跟大家说 procedure 指的其实就是手术。很多人听到要拔牙，其实都会相当焦虑啊。要消除焦虑，我们动词用什么呢？就是 eliminate anxiety。要消除焦虑，完全消除是没有办法的，不可能的。但是我们可以做一些事情来减少这个过程当中以及拔牙之后的不适和疼痛。We can minimize unpleasant sensations. 这边的 sensations 指的呢，就是这些不舒服的感觉。再来，请同学看到第二段，第一个句子 Make sure you get the timing correct. 时机 timing 是非常重要的，一定要在正确的时间呢去拔智齿。所以这边文章建议我们 take time off from work or school.尽可能请假，不要去上班，不要去上课。为什么呢？后面的这个 as 是因为，后面解释了原因，因为需要时间放松，伤口才能痊愈。接下来，文章建议我们第二點，就是要安排好看完牙醫之後回家的交通工具 ，arrange for transportation home after the appointment.Because it's too risky for you to drive in this weakened condition. 为什么会说 weakened condition 呢？拔完牙以后人很不舒服嘛，所以当然就是很虚弱的状态 weakened condition. 再来第三点建议就是我们准备食物的时候要特别注意，要挑比较软的，储备一些软的食物。Stock your kitchen with soft items.厨房里面呢，应该要多储备这样子的东西。Stock your kitchen with soft items. 那后面这句话是什么意思呢？因为 as you won't be able to tolerate hard foods for several days after the surgery. 拔完牙之后有好几天，应该都吃不了硬的东西。好，再接下来还有几点建议，包括说冰敷 place a cold compress over your jaw.为什么要这么做呢？ To ease the pain, 减轻疼痛。接下来术后24小时还要用食盐水漱口，保持伤口清洁。请记住，漱口 rinsing your mouth。再来，下面还有几点，就是随着时间的过往，我们的伤口会慢慢的好，但还是会有一些状况的。请注意，就是第一个，24小时之内会有血块的生成 blood clots 就是血块。再来之后的2到3天，嘴巴这周边可能呢会有肿胀的情况是没有错，但是呢2-3天后就会开始消肿了。The swelling in your mouth will start to subside. 消肿我们说 swelling will subside. 那再来1个礼拜之后，牙医师可能就准备好要帮你拆线了。They'll remove your stitches. 拆线 remove your stitches. 好，那以上呢就是我们针对这篇文章所做的中文讲解，也希望大家之后如果有机会要拔智齿的话，都能够呢轻松顺利。谢谢大家。
We're going to take a quick break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Okay, guys, here are our discussion questions. Jacob, you can try to answer this first one. Can you think of some other ways to minimize tooth pain?
Okay, well, we talked about a cold compress, right?
Yeah.
If you have a toothache. I think one thing you could do is if it's late at night and you might have a toothache, just take some pain reliever, take some painkillers. In North America, we would have Advil or Tylenol. I think here in Taiwan, the one you see on the shelves is like Panadol. Maybe is the one
it's a type of Tylenol.
As a lot of people take. So yeah, you can just take a painkiller. That might be one way if you're experiencing tooth pain to help relieve the pain or minimize the pain.
Sometimes if your tooth hurts, you can put some ice on your gums.
Okay.
You know, before you can get to the dentist.
Yeah.
I'm saying before you go see the dentist. And try to do something to take your mind off of it. It's hard if the pain's in your mouth because it's right there in your head.
Yeah.
It's hard to get away from it. Next question. How often do you visit your dentist for a checkup? I think around the world they recommend to go get a checkup every 6 months.
Yeah.
Not everybody can do that or can afford it. I would say brush your teeth really, really well.
Right.
My dad was one of those lucky people. He didn't go to a dentist for like 25 years. And when he finally went, because he was afraid of pain, I'll be honest, he would tell you that too. When he went, we were all angry in the family because he had 0 cavities.
Well, he must have brushed well and he flossed. Did he floss?
But some people have better teeth than others.
Right.
My mom's teeth would just you look at them and they would just crumble. I got my mom's teeth. But we never thought that was fair because, the kids, we always had to go to the dentist and we always had cavities.
Well, here in Taiwan, I mean, it's great because we have the national health insurance and that actually allows you to visit a dentist twice a year.
Yeah.
You can go see a dentist twice a year, and there's lots of dentists around. So in Taiwan, it's kind of hard to come up with an excuse for not going to see the dentist because one, it's covered.
It's really cheap.
And there's a lot of them. So hopefully you can get over your fears and actually go to the dentist regularly. The first time can be tough, but after that, if you build up a good routine, then you'll be okay.
It's especially important for the kids who have already graduated from high school and college. Your mom and your dad aren't going to keep telling you to make an appointment.
That's true.
You have to do it yourself.
Yep.
I always think of getting a checkup as being something I have to do because I'm a grown-up. I'm an adult.
It's one of the adult things you can do. I like that. Yeah. Nice.
Oh, so we hope you enjoyed learning some of these words. These are great words to practice and put into your vocabulary to better prepare for a TOEIC test. Good luck, guys. We will, of course, be back here pretty soon with some other topic. But for now, we're done with our TOEIC unit. For English Digest, I'm Stephanie.
And I'm Jacob.
Bye.